Welcome to I Am Well podcast. I am your host, Gemma, a nutritionist and mindset coach passionate about all things health and wellness. I'm going to take you on a journey to discovering what health means for you and how to create a life you love living. I'm on a mission to uplift those who feel overwhelmed with what it means to be healthy, reminding you, my listeners, that nutrition is only one aspect of health, and empower you to live your best life on your terms. Let's get to it. Hello and welcome back to I Am Well podcast. Before I get stuck into today's episode, I just wanted to bring you all up to date in my world with what's happening. At the moment, I do have a free masterclass coming up. There have been a lot of women messaging me about fasting and what to eat when you break it, hormones especially. A lot of women have messaged me on how to test your hormones and even about reading nutrition labels. And it made me realize, okay, I just want to create a really easy free masterclass to do online surrounding all of this information. It is going to be via Zoom, so really easy access. I will have the link in my show notes below. All you have to do is click on that to register. If you register, you also will be put into a little competition where whoever's name is drawn will receive a free personalized plan done by me. I just have to get you to fill out a form with a few details to kind of understand your lifestyle, what's going on in your world, what your goals are, and then I'm going to create a really basic starter plan customized to you to just get you started on your first month creating a healthy lifestyle or even a fasting lifestyle for you. So that is going on at the moment. The free masterclass is on Tuesday, I want to say 25th of June. It should be 25th. Yes, so it is at 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. All the details are in the show notes below. Also, don't forget, there is 2 weeks left to sign up to Balance. That is my 3-month group program where I help teach women how to understand this crazy world that we live in when it comes to nutrition, but how to make it simple and easy for you to understand. There's 9 modules we go through weekly. We have our group chat where we can all really thrive off each other, learn from each other. I will be there to help you all, coach you all on this journey. And then in our last month, so the 3rd month that we're together, we are all creating a reset fasting program together. And everyone's program is going to be different and individual because obviously it goes off your hormonal cycle and where you're at the time and what your goals are, all of that. So everyone's is going to be different, but we're all going to be implementing it together and cheering each other on, helping each other out. I will be there to coach you all throughout this. And what I want you to get out of this is after the 3 months, I want you to feel so empowered to be able to take all these tools I teach you and implement them into your own life. And when you start to do that for yourself, people will see the results around you. They'll see the change in you and then they'll want that for themselves, which I love. And that is my mission because it means that we are spreading this awareness and we're helping each other, helping women out there get this knowledge into their own hands, and we're going to help each other thrive. I'm all for that. So I just wanted to explain a bit about that, what's happening in my world. All the information will be in the show notes below. But with that, let's get into today's episode. Hello, Shane, and welcome back.
Addiction.
Hello. No. Hi, everyone. And hello, Shane. Welcome back to I Am Well podcast. If anyone does not know who Shane is, I'm appalled. No. Just go back to previous episodes. No, I can tell you right now. I can tell you right now he's my husband. Anyway, we have both had a very busy weekend this weekend. So if we both sound delirious, we were planning, actually, let me just go back to the start. This is a very messy introduction. I'm really sorry to have whoever's listening. Just hang on there for a second. But we were planning on doing this episode like early last week, and then we kept pushing it back because we have 2 kids and they keep making us really tired because they're always getting up throughout the night. So I said, okay, well, why don't we do it when we go away? Because we were going away over this weekend. And we were like, that's such a good idea.
Such a good idea. We have so much time. What could go wrong?
2 kids. I forgot that I booked 2 queen beds. So one for me and Shane, one for our 2 kids. Usually they sleep in separate bedrooms, so totally forgot about that. So it didn't happen. We did not record while we were away. So if you are listening to this on Monday morning, Australian time, we actually recorded this Sunday night, the night before. That's how last minute this is. Yep. But there's a reason why I did bring Shane on, even though he literally asked me before we were about to start, so what are we talking? Like, what are we doing?
Okay. I need to out me. Sure. No. Yeah.
And I was like, we're just chit-chatting like we normally chat. And then we both like sat there in silence. I was like, we don't just normally chat, do we? We got to chat more.
Yeah. It's also, we don't have time.
Yeah, I know.
I know, that's such an easy thing to say, like we don't have time.
Yeah.
But with the kids and stuff, I think you sort of forget to chat, which sounds stupid, but...
Yeah. Anyway, if I am sounding... I feel like I'm going to take little digs at you. I'm just like I'm in a mood, you know, I'm in just one of those moods. I mean... I am...
All the time?
Excuse me. No, this is I talk about cycles a lot on here. This is a week before my period. I am not feeling my best. I am tired. You know what I actually feel like is really good at the moment? I feel like I'm nervous.
I feel like this is the first thing.
No, this is good.
Okay.
I think this is actually a good thing that we do, is now that I've taught you about the hormonal cycle with women and everything like that, you actually really understand my feelings and like when's the best time to talk to me about things and when not, and you'll get it. I just don't like it when you're like, yeah, I know where you're at in your cycle.
Yeah, that's sort of like, you can't have it both ways is my sort of thing. You can't be like, oh, I want you to learn my cycle. I want you to know when I'm most fragile, when I need support, when I need this. But then when I call you out on it, be like, oh, well, you're a bit moody right now. You can't come at me and be like...
Yeah, but I do feel like it's good at the moment. I feel like it's good now that we do have that. Like you really understand it. And I feel like when I say this to other people, they're like, oh, like you guys like chat about that? I'm like, yeah. I'll say, Shane, don't piss me off right now. I'm a week before my period. I'm not feeling good. I'm not making sense. So don't try to reason with me. I'm not making sense. Don't you think?
I do. And no, 100%. Like you do actually say that, and that's a legitimate thing.
That's true. I do say that,
She does say like, not now, I'm not, so forth. I just feel like sometimes some guys just need that out to be like, look, sport hasn't gone my way this weekend.
Yeah, you're going to say that because of the footy today.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't keep my cool. That's all right.
But your team ended up winning anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yes, this has been a big weekend this last weekend. We have been away because I held my very first wellness retreat with a bunch of women where we talked about all things about hormonal cycles and all the good stuff. And it was amazing. It was just full on with the kids. So we're both very tired. Mm-hmm. I feel like if anyone out there listens to this and has kids and has really good recommendations on how to get them to sleep throughout the night, please send them through to me.
Yep.
Because I've tried many different things.
Don't care what it is.
Yeah.
Alcohol, whatever. Just puts them down.
I don't know.
Look,
let's not promote that.
I'm not promoting it. I'm just promoting. What have you got?
Yeah, no, because I've tried different things. lately I've been trying this essential oil roller that one of my wellness girlies recommended me. Sometimes I feel like it puts them to sleep really quick, but they still wake up throughout the night. So it's about that. So if anyone has any more suggestions, yeah, definitely all ears. How are you coping?
Yeah, well, yesterday was like my day just with the kids.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot. I was doing the wellness retreat, so Shane had the kids.
Had the kids, and like, not the fact that I don't have the kids. I have the kids every so often where it's like just me and stuff, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I think it was the whole fact of that we went away and it was like high excitement and there was so much going on and they didn't know where their emotions were. Brookie's going through a phase.
I don't know what's going on.
3-year-olds. So it was just, from the start, it was just a nightmare. But we got through it.
Yeah.
A couple tears. More from me than them, I think. But we got through it.
Yeah. No, Brookie is definitely going through something. I don't know if anyone can relate. He was like an amazing sleeper. Everything was
such
perfect.
A kid.
And then all of a sudden, I don't know, he just dropped his naps. He used to have like crazy 3-hour, 4-hour naps. And he would still sleep fine throughout the night. And then all of a sudden, one day he just dropped all the naps. Yep. Doesn't nap anymore. And will always fight his sister, which is fun.
Yeah, he's just... Kid's aggressive.
Yeah, he's aggressive.
Not in a horrible way. He's just like, he's just like a boy where he just wants to wrestle and fight and like play dinosaurs and all this stuff. And it's like, we haven't thrown that on him. That's just who he is. And he just wants that.
We were saying this the other day. Yeah.
I do play rough with both of my kids. Like it's not like I'm with someone, I'm real fragile and stuff. Like, I think anyone that sees me with the kids,
they'll know.
They'll know that I play pretty rough with them.
I think it's good though.
Yeah, it's just I'm scared Brookie's giving it back to me now.
Yes, that's the only thing. Yeah. But it is good because wasn't it somewhere I saw a video or something about how playing rough with your kids can actually make them really versatile, like growing up and really, I don't know, I can't remember what it was. But
be able to take a hit.
Yeah. But no, we were talking about the other day though, how we never taught them like gender stereotypes, like Brooklyn and Summer. Like Brooklyn, he's always he loves he sometimes loves like the color pink, and he loves putting on Summer's hats, like sunflower hats and stuff. And every now and then he'll play dolls. But he is really into cars, really into dinosaurs, and he goes, he always goes rah and then tries to tackle us and stuff. And we didn't teach him that. And Summer is the complete opposite. She always wants to dress up in big ball gowns and
dress up as princesses.
All she wants is pink, rainbow, all that stuff. And it's we didn't teach her that either. It's just crazy how they just come into that sometimes, you know?
And yeah, that's where you sort of think how much can you really influence them to how they want to be. And it's you can, I do think you can to some degree, where you just constantly throwing something at them, but they'll resist it.
Yeah.
Especially with Summer, you cannot force her to do anything. So
no, she's stubborn, like you. I'm sorry, the bitchiness is coming out.
Glad you said it. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm a completely different woman tonight. Anyway, what I did want to bring you on here for was, I reckon we should talk about our fasting lifestyle that we've been doing for a few months now.
Yeah.
We've both done... You kind of follow me because I've explained this before. Men can go off on, they can do fasting as much as they want. They can switch in and out of it. They should always switch in and out of it, obviously. But they have a lot more flexibility with it. Whereas women, we generally either have to go off a monthly cycle or, it depends where you're at with your hormones and stuff. So you've kind of been following me and what I'm doing, and we've done intermittent fasting, but then we've also done 24 hours, and then we did the fat burning one, which was 36 hours. and then we did the 48. Well, I didn't actually reach to 48, but you did.
Yep.
So, how did you feel?
Well, starting fasting, like, I think everyone sort of knows about it. You know, if you ask anyone, you're like, oh, what do you think of fasting? Everyone knows, oh, it's just sort of, you just choose not to eat. And then that's sort of it. And that's seriously pretty much what I thought as well. It's like, oh, you just choosing not to eat, and then you might eat at night, and then boom, it's like sort of just does something. It puts you into like a starvation mode, where that's pretty much all I sort of knew about it. It wasn't until you started teaching me more about it where I was like, oh, okay, there's more signs of benefits to it, but also there's more to it than just being like, oh, you can just eat whatever you want at the end of the day. And it's more how you do it and what you should be eating after and what you're trying to accomplish, whether it's like burning fat or helping your gut or gaining muscle or something like that, which determines how you break your fast and stuff, is what you're aiming for. To start off with, just with like your everyday fast, I found that super easy. Just fast throughout the day, and then when it comes to nighttime, then you eat. And I love that one. I love doing that fast because obviously my work as well, it's just like once we're into it, you just keep working, and it's so much easier to stop. I do find when we do stop for a break, you sort of get that bit of like, oh, I should be eating. Everyone else is eating, and you're sort of like, oh, just sitting there, and that's when you do find that you're a bit hungry. But I love that feeling of fasting all day and then getting to dinner time and you're like, yeah, this is amazing. And then it just enhances like whatever you're eating. It's just like, oh, this is so much better. Like it's a salad. And it's like, so it just sort of enhances whatever you're eating and it makes it so much more enjoyable. Pretty much is what I was saying. And I love that feeling of like, oh my God, like I'm eating just like salad and like a steak or something. It's like, Jesus, like it's so much nicer. And I feel like all my senses, like it's stupid, but it's like your senses are actually more heightened. And then that's just with you every day, just you say like your 17-hour fast or something like that, or going to your 24 or whatever it is. So I do love that one.
Yeah.
And then obviously when I did the 48-hour one, I was really, I didn't realize how much different it would make me feel. Like, I don't know, it's weird to feel like I wasn't in control of how I was feeling in my gut wise, but it was working and you knew something was happening. So it was cool like that. And I didn't know what to expect. I think that was the biggest thing, was like, oh, so the first night I was like really hungry when it comes to dinner time because my body's been conditioned to be like, okay, eat at dinner time. And then when I didn't, and then I was like, oh, dude, I'm pretty hungry. And then got past that sort of hunger stage, and then I was like, okay, like I feel all right, went to sleep, woke up in the morning, and I didn't feel like any food. I was just like, no, I'm not hungry at all. I don't feel like eating. So, and then went out throughout the day and I was fine. And I found I did have a couple fluctuations of like, oh, like I'm a little flat right now, but then it might last 15, 20 minutes and then you pick straight back up. And then you're like, oh, I feel really good. And then
that's probably your body like transitioning through each stage.
Yeah. And then obviously when we got to the second night, so the 48 hours and breaking that fast, I think that's where I needed to sort of slow down. We were talking about this today, about I should have just slowed down to eating when we got to that 48 hours. I was like, sweet. And I prepared all these steaks and protein and stuff like that because I wanted to just probably put on a little bit of muscle.
Yeah.
So
your goal's more to build up muscle.
Yeah, so then I wanted to have lots of protein and have this, and which I did, but I just like scoffed it all down like crazy. And then it wasn't until after that I was like, oh God, like I feel overwhelmed. I feel a little bit sick because I was like, I didn't go at it 100% the right way at the end of it.
Yeah.
Where I should, obviously, which we've just learned, is I should have taken it a bit slower to introduce that protein instead of just taking it all in at once and being like, all right, now my body, haven't eaten for 48 hours, handle this. And it's
not because you're like, it's not like you're starving. It's just you're excited to eat again.
Yeah,
you're excited to taste it. Yeah.
I don't think I was really that hungry.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was like, it's like in my head, I was like, you should be so happy to eat. You should be so happy to eat. Just eat. Mm-hmm. And then my stomach's like, nah, man, like we're good.
Yeah.
And I'm
Too
like,
much.
It's too late. Just take it. Just do something with it.
Yeah. It's definitely, you definitely have to break it up. Like you have to like have a little bit and then wait 20 minutes for it to settle and then, introduce more.
And then I do remember, if you remember, when I broke the fast and I was really into my steaks and I like my steaks and I try to cook them really nice. And I cooked this really nice steak. And then I remember I was eating it and I was like, yeah, it's nice, but it's not, like, there was just something off. Like, I didn't love the taste.
That's right. I was like, it tastes nice. And you were like, it tastes different. And I was like, what?
You're like, oh, this is as good as, like, this is really nice. And I'm like, no, there's something different. And I was like, I don't know what it is, but, like, I had, like, some steaks and I had this, I think I had, like, a bit of bacon there as well. And I was like, I know what bacon tastes like.
Yeah.
And I tried that and I was like, that's different. Like, I don't want it. Like, it wasn't like it was appealing to me.
But that's what happens when you go into these fasts. It literally changes your brain. And then when you start to eat again, your brain tastes the food like it's new again. Like it's again, you taste it completely different.
It was completely different. And I was like, I don't know if I liked it.
You know what technically could also be? It could have been your gut microbes too, because your gut microbes play a part in how you taste food, and you would have done like a 24-hour gut reset technically.
Yeah.
So you could have developed new gut microbes that now taste it differently.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. It's so weird how it works,
when you get into that, I don't even know
that side.
That side at all, and I don't know what I'm picturing is just, I don't know.
I always picture little like little bugs or something.
It's like in the commercials where it's like
was it Listerine or something?
Yeah. Oh no,
it was a mouthwash.
The heartburn one. Or whatever.
Heartburn.
It's like the little bugs or something.
Yes.
That's what I picture.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's really good to know. You said a lot there though, and I was like going, oh yeah, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that.
Sorry. So we'll go back.
It's just because like if people are hearing this for the first time, it's just really interesting to hear someone else's take on what they're experiencing. One of the first things that you did say though was when you were at work and you said everyone out when it was lunch break, right? And I feel like this is what a lot of clients or a lot of people who ever try to implement this, that this is what they're going to struggle with is, there's lunch break or there's lunchtime. And they've chosen that as their fasting window and thinking, having this plan thinking it's going to be all okay. And then all of a sudden people are like, oh, what'd you bring for lunch? And they're all enjoying it. And then you feel like you're missing out. Yeah. You're like, oh my God, that looks good. So did you feel those things? And if you did, like, how did you cope? Or like, I don't know, what went through your mind with that stuff?
So yeah, definitely felt that. I felt, so when it did get to lunchtime, I was okay. It's sort of sometimes, I know with some workplaces you'd feel like, oh, I'm the odd one out because I'm not eating and I'm just sitting there. And I get that, because if someone's sitting there and they're just sitting there with a water and they're just watching you eat, like it feels like you eating would feel awkward. And you don't want, like, it's not about anyone else. I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm fasting, so you're not doing as good.
Well. Yeah.
It's not about that at all. It's all about my thing. And it's like, doesn't faze me what you do and all that. But then also, you're always accessible to food. So I was fasting and I walked into like a tool shop and they had a like a spread, like a buffet spread thing, like just help yourself if you're in the tool shop looking at tools. I was like, and I was fasting. I was just walking by it and I just went. I think I just picked up something and I was like, oh, and then I was like, didn't even think about it, and instinctively I just reached over, picked something up, and went to eat it. And I was like, God, I didn't want it. I didn't.
You didn't need it. You didn't feel hungry.
I didn't even think about what I was grabbing. It was just like muscle memory of just like, oh, just pick this up and eat it. And I was like, why? And then that was actually something where I was like, why did I do that? And it felt like I didn't even do it. It was just like, was just so wired to be like, food, grab it, eat it. Keep walking. Food, grab it, eat it.
That's like, what I think I struggled with a lot. Like, being a mum and stuff, and then you'd cook the kids dinner, and then you'd pick at the kids' food as you're cooking it.
Yeah,
you're like,
dad tax.
Yeah.
it's a real thing, and I kid you not, that is probably where majority of dads or parents in general would gain weight. It's because like you just go, oh, I've just cooked their dinner. It's like, oh yeah, look, they've eaten 80% of it. Now I'll just eat that little 20%, and I do that again, and I do that.
And you're
again.
like, I'm gonna have one. Like you think about it the first time, you're like, I'm gonna have a tiny bite. It's not gonna do anything. But it's not that. It's the more that you keep picking at it that you forget. It's like you keep telling yourself, oh, I'm just gonna take one bite, and it's like 15 bites later.
What's a couple of dinosaur nuggets?
Exactly. So I just felt like that was really important to talk about. But you can obviously choose when to fast. I think this is something to reiterate too, is that you don't have to skip breakfast. If you're a person that loves breakfast, you can maybe like finish eating earlier throughout the day too. But what do you feel like works best for you? Like, what have you liked to do?
I love to fast. So on a day-to-day basis, I love
like
to fast
during the week. Yeah.
So I find it heaps easier if I'm working and you're sort of busy throughout. Like when you stop and slow down and you're sitting at home and that's when you just boredom and you just eat because you're bored. But obviously I find it heaps easier to do at work.
Yeah. I choose my longer fast during the week because I find it easier to do.
Yeah. But then also with the time period, I also find it easier to just fast throughout the day and then eat at night.
Yeah.
And then it's also easier, but it's more social as well with like obviously the kids and yourself and everything like that. I'd rather do that than just eat breakfast, obviously, because I get up at, I don't know, 4:30, 5 o'clock, whatever it is.
Hour.
Yeah, so because I get up so early, if I'm going to have breakfast that early, I really don't feel like it as well.
Yeah. Did you ever feel like you had to have breakfast? Like, I was going to say, I felt like that. I've talked about it, but I was like, I wonder what other people think. Like, did that,
Yeah, especially with what you do here, like growing up, it's like, oh, eat your breakfast, otherwise like it's the most important meal, and it's like, you've got to do it.
It sets you up for the day. And I always forced myself, I wasn't hungry, but I always forced myself to eat because I was so worried. Like everyone was like, you have to eat, otherwise it's going to mess up your hormones. And I totally get that, but you don't, as a woman, you only have to sometimes like the week before your period. But yeah, I just love it. I love it because though meal prepping, I hated whenever we'd done diets in the past and how like annoying was it. It would take up our whole weekend pretty much to meal prep. I know we're probably doing it wrong.
100%. And people will see this and be like, oh God, like you didn't meal prep this and this. And it's every situation's different.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know people that meal prep amazing and they do all these spreads.
They're
and
so good at it.
They might like have a kid as well or whatever it is. But with our situation and having the 2 kids, meal prepping the night before, and it's just a lot. And I think we're trying to put our attention into other things, other areas in our life. And it's like, meal prepping, like obviously is a great aspect, but it's not where we wanted to focus our health goals, I think. Especially it's like we did it and I did like the morning overnight oats and everything like that, and that just...
We did it for a long time.
We did.
Like we were consistent, but it was just exhausting.
It was, and I didn't feel the changes. I didn't feel like it was getting me where I wanted to go, and it was more of a tolling, and it was a chore that I didn't want to do as much as like seeing the benefit. It just didn't seem to weigh up. That was one thing that I was like, how much easier, like... And tonight, you don't always, it's not like you do take lunch sometimes to work. It's not like you always don't. But like tonight, it's a Sunday night and I was literally like, I just turned to you and was like, you fasting tomorrow? You're like, yeah. I was like, good. Yeah. I was like, can't be bothered. But what I was also going to say is, which brings me, to the next part, is how you were feeling during fasting. Because I feel like it can bring on
like a real weird kind of experience, like a real like without sounding too woo-woo, a little bit like a spiritual experience, you know what I mean? Like it's just like, because I think you're just trusting your body again. So you're feeling things that you never felt before and stuff, you know? Did you feel that at all? Especially through the 48-hour one. Like that's a long time.
Yeah. No, well, definitely feel like my senses were hardened. Yeah. Especially for me, I have a horrible sense of smell.
That's true.
Like really, really bad. And I think I need to go get it checked out because...
That's true. Someone needs to see a doctor.
She gets away with a lot.
Excuse me. Dude, this is my podcast. We are not bringing this into this.
I will out you. Okay? Don't.
Anyway, moving on.
She'll vouch. I have a horrible, like a really, really bad nose. And I think the thing I found was my sense of smell, like I've never experienced a sense of smell like I had where I could be ages away from like a food source and I'll be like, oh my God, I can smell what they're cooking like way over there. And I've never been able to do that. But it's like, yeah.
It's so crazy. Like, and I just feel like you don't understand until you go through it. But like, your body's healing itself and you're no longer, when we're just eating all the time, we forget to just live and feel things and experience, like...
You also forget why you're eating.
Yeah, I know. Like, yeah, it's so true.
Like, people forget why you're meant to be eating and you just go, it's 12 o'clock. Yeah. We're supposed to have lunch now.
I got into a thing, I was telling you the other day, like, I used to be, like, obsessed with food. And I would wake up and be like, oh, what are we having for breakfast? Like I'd think about it the night before even. I'd be like, where should we go for breakfast the next morning? And then and then we get up, we'd have breakfast, but I'd already start thinking about dinner. Like, I know that sounds insane, but it was just like, I think I developed such an addiction to food that's where I focused my happiness on. You know what I mean? Like that was all what I thought was going to make me feel like I'm living and...
Not the kids.
No. Food. Not the kids. Food.
Food. It's okay. Stay strong.
Oh God.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's where my happiness comes from.
That's where my happiness is. Just food. It's gonna make me sound so bad. No, I do love those kids.
Those kids.
I do. No, but seriously, I know this sounds crazy. But I definitely feel like there are people out there that are gonna agree with me on this. When you just like
we're just different. Where we would go in. I would just think in the moment, be like, oh yeah, like I'm hungry now. Like, what do you feel like? Yeah. And I'd be like, oh, once I've eaten, then I'm like, oh, I won't think about something till I'm hungry again. So it won't bother me.
I know. But I don't, like the thing is like when I leaned into these fasts and I did that addiction, that craziness of wondering what my next meal was going to be, like it's literally gone. Like it's just crazy. Like I think food was controlling my life 100%. More than I even realized. Because like I've always been passionate about food. It's why I became a nutritionist. But when it started, I didn't realize, as I said, it was controlling me, which is crazy. But it's a thing because food is addictive and they have stuff in there that literally makes it addictive.
Yeah, they want it to be addictive. So it's like, oh, I feel like I need that. And then you have withdrawals and you go, God, if I haven't had sugar, I need that sugar hit. Yeah. And it's like...
And when you lean into these fasts, it completely like resets everything. So you now have a different relationship with food. Well, I do anyway. Everyone is different when they go through it.
Yeah. But I think the next step would be, for me, I really want to just push the fast. So I want to see how far I could take it.
I think that's the thing, like when you start off, it's a bit scary because you're like, oh, I've just gone 2 days without eating.
Well, I went 48 hours. And in the end, I was like, still had to force myself to eat. Yeah. After the 48. And I was like, oh, why? Like, I wanted to see how far I could get. And especially because it wasn't just after that 48 hours that I was like, oh, I feel good after this 48 hours. It was the week after and that next stage that's where I was like, holy crap, like I felt really, my body, I really felt better in myself and how I felt about my body and how I was looking and everything. And I felt like that's when my body was really coming into its own from that big fast. And that's when it was really getting all those benefits.
And it makes sense because you did a 48-hour one, which is the dopamine reset. So usually you feel the effects a week after.
Yeah. And I do think I didn't have the cravings of like, obviously the sugar or anything like that. So
the computer keeps stuffing up, so we've lost our train of thought.
If you've come this far, you'll deal with that if you've got to this point. That's nothing. So after the big fast, that's where, anyway, now I want to see where a bigger fast might take me.
Yeah.
And if that will push me, I don't know, I just want to see that next stage. So we've done the 48 and everything like that.
So the next stage we're going to go to for you is the 72-hour one.
Yeah. Which
is 3-day water fast, technically. That's what it's called.
Yeah. Which I have that's actually something that I've seen before and it's always interested me. But I was like cautious of like, I don't know what supplements or what vitamins or I should be taking. And obviously having you here and like I do lean on you a lot. And I go,
it makes sense.
Yeah, is this good or not? Like I just take your word for it. But yes.
Well, that's actually a good point too. Like, what kind of snacks did you have throughout your fast that helped? Because I'll like explain this, but you can have like little snacks throughout, which are called like fat bombs, kind of. So you can have like healthy fats throughout that won't break your fast. But yeah, what did you have like that you found helped?
The almond butter.
Yeah,
was good. But then I found, so if I had like a coffee or something, I think we tested my levels. We saw it didn't rise anything. It didn't rise your
blood sugars.
Yep. So it didn't rise all that. So obviously I didn't overdo it with coffees. I still had probably one a day, but that would get me through a fair chunk. And then obviously just water and with the salt
mineral sachets. Yeah, we use the LMNT ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were good. That obviously helped me a lot, I think. And that really got me through any stage where I was really struggling. I would have that. And it's sort of like you're really working on yourself. So it felt good to have that.
Because some people, like a lady asked at the retreat, like, what does it mean to fast? Like, you just don't have anything. And I completely forgot, like, oh, no, you can have these little things to get you through and stuff. But so if anyone's like starting their fasting journey and it's just like flat out, like not eating, like good on you. But if you're struggling, there are definitely things that can help you.
Yeah, and there will be times where you do struggle.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I was also explaining. Like that's when you get to that point, that's you transitioning to building up more ketones, which we were checking our ketone levels and our glucose levels throughout. Yours got to... You didn't end up checking the next day, did you, though?
No.
But they were around like 2 or something, which was really good because that means you're, in that really good fat burning stage.
Yeah. So the next stage will be 72.
Yeah.
Should be good, which I'm excited for.
Yeah. I still want to get to the 48. I had to stop because I had such a bad night's sleep that my glucose levels were all over the place the next day.
I think that's where you do have to monitor yourself.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't until you were like, oh, look, I don't feel good and I had a horrible night's sleep with the kids and everything like this. And you sort of said, look, there's no point in me forcing this. It's just going to make me go back instead of progress.
Yeah. You always want to, if you're doing any big fasts, anything over 24 hours, you always want to check glucose levels and you always want to check ketone levels because, there's no point. If you're way too low or way too high, you're just creating more cortisol in the body, which is doing the complete opposite of what you want to do. You want to feel really good. It's going to make you feel crap.
The thing is, too, when you're just speaking about that, I didn't have a clue what keto levels were or anything like that. And it wasn't until you explained it, I was like, all right, like, that's good. Like, sweet.
I know.
But feeling it, and you were explaining it to me when we were fasting, and you're like, oh, look, and I'm like, I'm so hungry, like I just want to eat something, and you're like, look, you're not at ketosis yet. Wait till you hit it, and you'll find your body starts using the fat. And I was like, okay. As soon as I hit it, I was like, I feel great. Like I feel really good.
Such a crazy change, isn't it?
And straight away, you're just like, I'm not hungry, and I feel really good.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then you check, you're like, yeah, you're in ketosis now. I'm like, that is weird.
It's so weird. Like you want to be at least at, if you're checking ketone levels, as soon as you hit 0.5, then you're in ketosis.
Because ketosis is where your body uses the fat.
Yeah,
as
you're
energy,
actually in the fat burning stage, and you're actually producing enough ketones to start feeling really good, like I'm feeling really energized, because ketones give you energy.
What are ketones?
They're literally like glucose. They're a little molecule in your body that gives you this burst of energy. But our brain uses 50% glucose and 50% ketones. And technically, we actually start producing these ketones at 8 hours of fasting. So throughout when we go to sleep, we will go into that fat burning stage and produce those ketones, but we generally don't usually go into ketosis unless we're in like a big fast, which is when you hit 0.5 on the ketone measurement scale, and you're producing enough ketones like that are going to give you heaps of energy and make you feel you're thriving. It makes you think clearer. You're really definitely in that fat burning stage then. Whereas when you're fasting during the night and you get to like that 8 hours, you've produced some ketones and you are technically in the fat burning stage too, but it's just less of an effect, if that makes sense. It's not, you're going to get so much more. Well, you felt it when you actually hit ketosis. Like it's such a different feel. I think it's like if you feel like kind of like when you're playing a game and you keep leveling up. So it's like you hit a new stage and you level up again.
Like Mario, he has the mushroom.
Exactly. So like when you hit 0.5, you like leveled up, and then later on you're eventually gonna hit a crash again. So you went to 48 hours.
That's
so you might have
Mario gets small. Yep.
Yeah.
Anyone listening to this that is all they're picturing right now is Mario going getting bigger.
I wonder how many people will listen to this or know about Mario. So then everyone knows about Mario. I just mean like if they play the game.
Okay. All right.
Oh my God, when you hit the next stage, so I'm sure in your 48 hours, there was also another time where you probably felt like hungry again, maybe. That was probably you going to the next level again.
Yeah.
So and then if you go to like a 3-day water fast, there might be another stage where you get that. It's called the gap because it's always you going to the next stage of producing more ketones.
Yeah. And
sometimes, you'll have like, could be gut microbes that don't like this, that are like screaming out, going feed me. And there could be like other things so it's all interesting. And this is all the science behind it. But then when you know this, and you're hitting those moments where you're like, I'm really struggling. Like, why am I struggling? It's like, well, now you know why and what's happening. You're like, oh, I'm just leveling up. I'm getting a mushroom.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool. But it's crazy how you do feel it. Because I remember like for me too, I was 0.4 and then I was like, oh my God, I'm just hungry. And I was like, stuff it. I'm going to go have a tablespoon of almond butter. Had that, didn't obviously break my fast. And then it literally was maybe half an hour later or an hour later, and I checked and I was at 0.5, and all of a sudden I was cleaning up all around the house. I had all this energy to get all this stuff done. It's such a crazy experience. But yeah. Anyway, that's really it. That's pretty much it. I guess we will hopefully next time you come on, you would have done the 3-day water fast, and then we can really
I'll do that.
Talk about that. That'll be your goal for the next one.
Just come back.
You come back and like, don't do it. No, I'm kidding.
It's bad, guys.
I didn't say that. If you're trying this for the first time, please don't do that. Please don't lean into any of these big fasts. Like Shane and I, we've been prepping ourselves for this. I didn't just learn all this and go to Shane let's jump into a 48-hour fast.
Just don't eat.
No, we prepped for this. So there's a way to do it. And if you are curious at all, just you can reach out to me via Instagram or my website, my email. All the links are in the show notes below. Anyway, I'll leave it there.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming on.
All good. I'll see you guys next time.
Yeah. See you guys. Bye.